Alright, we'll skip the intro because if you know this, you should know the story. I am Steve, and this is my playthrough for The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, which if you read the title, you should already know. And if you click this video accidentally, then you should sit and watch it anyway because it's an amazing game. So we're opening right now. I believe Zelda is telepathically contacting Link's uncle, who is now leaving Link alone after waking from a horrible nightmare. You kind of tell by the bug eyes that he had when he woke up. Yeah. I think he was dreaming about Hyrule being flooded, probably because of the rain. The only way he could get place to place was by boat. To make matters worse, he looks like a cat. It's a horrible, horrible nightmare. Alright, so he's just going to take the sword and shield from his dead uncle's body and not even pause for mourning. I love those guys. They're slow in every sense of the word. Oh, look at that. Cut in. He couldn't catch me. And this game is pretty straightforward, especially here through the introduction. No, ain't got time for you, or you. And we can just sneak past these two. Those helmets must block their peripheral vision. I had a smart comment for this room, but I finished it too quick to make the comment. It was going to be something about being locked in a room with an armed guard. Yeah. Got his attention, finished him, and you get a pot. And one more. There we go. I bet Zelda wishes she had that key. I should taunt her. Look at this. She won't even let me go for the chest. She just interrupts me while I'm trying to go for the chest. Yeah, there's really not a whole heck of a lot to narrate here. We got Zelda, now we just gotta get her out of the castle. Oh, he's back. This is Hyrule! I'm not even gonna finish him. Just leave him wounded. I don't feel like dodging you. Or you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the instructions. Oh no, it's a dead end. Oh, okay, let's push it. There we go. And if I don't get here, I'll be amazed. You know, for a royal castle, this place has a serious infestation problem. Got rats, snakes, bats. Seriously, with all the rats here, it's amazing Zelda isn't already dead. You think she would have contracted the plague or something. And we've made it to the sanctuary with the useless priest. Whoa! Wrong franchise. I like how Zelda just materializes through Link like she's Shadow Cat. She must be a Marvel fan. Yeah, blah blah blah, I understand. Ganon evil, Zelda good, save world. Yeah, I get it. Thanks for the heart. Now, an important thing to remember when you're playing this game is that this game is not an RPG. You do not get strength for killing enemies. You don't build levels. You don't increase any skills. So, for the most part, if you're playing for the sake of time, it's best to just run past the majority of enemies. I'm only going to take a little bit of time with these guys here because sometimes, actually pretty often, they'll drop red coins. And yes, I am purposely referring to rupees as coins, just to irritate the serious fans. I remember way back I thought those statues took forever to kill. Just 4 little hits. They seem like nothing now. They are officially less significant than my college GPA. Alright, so here we are. About 10 minutes in, we're into Dungeon 1. And for those of you who grew up with the NES, you ever wonder what happened to the balls from Marble Madness? Well, this is pretty much where they ended up. Alright, 100 coin. I remember when I first discovered that chest, I felt so rich. Back up, back up, back up. Alright. Everyone gets a pod except you. I also remember way back when this game was new, getting lost in this dungeon. This place used to take me almost half a day to get through. Alright. Hit him in the dark, no light. And I'll just walk under that seaweed thing. Alright, more seaweed. We're going to try to... Well, alright, forget what I was going to say. Now this is a rarity. The spinny skull things are all in the lower part of the room. 99.9% of the time, two or all of them will all gather right in the back behind that pedestal with the key on it. Get the bow ready. And let's see how quick I can clear out this room. Alright. Like a pro exterminator. Of course, I triggered two of them instead of just the top one. Alright. This room can be a bit confusing if you get nervous easily, because there are tons of marbles in that room. I was going to explain how I did it, but this dungeon will be over by the time I finish the explanation, so just rewind and pay very close attention to the trajectory of the marbles. Almost killed them in one round. Look at that. That was just a little quicker. Alright. Ooh, the statues came to life. Let's make them go back to dead. And one through the heart. I like how the heart made the arrow completely disappear. And that's the first pendant. 14 minutes in. Not bad. Alright, now what we're going to do is go to this little temple just west of the palace, and we are going to get the Pegasus boots. Give me the boots. Give me the boots, or I will keep prodding you with the shield. Why are old people so long-winded? I'm just kidding. I have nothing against old people. Just this one. Bombs are good. Coin is good. Alright, now we can dash, because we have the boots. So we are just going to dash to the next point of interest. That would be the library just south of the village. There's really no point in saying the name of the village because it's the only village in this entire game. And we're going to ram the bookcase and take that book. Because you will not beat the game without that book. Now we've just got a couple things to pick up here in town. These aren't necessary, but because I'm a terrible player and I know I'm going to die, I will not play this game flawlessly. I'm going to need bottles and the bug catching net. This way I can beat the game technically all in one game without getting any game overs. So I've got my 2 bottles. And now we get the bug catching net. Alright, so now we are going to be on our way to Palace 2. Just gotta cut through the Hylian swamp here. I have no idea why I jumped into the water there. I'm gonna go ahead and just blame my controller. Alright, now we need the book. Translate the ancient Hylian on the pedestal there. And now we are officially trapped in the second palace. So, nothing to do but defeat this palace. Again, not a whole lot to narrate here. Just go get the key in the upper left room and then you bring it down to the lower right room. I kind of walked into that seaweed thing on purpose because I saw the eye focusing on me and it was either get hit by the seaweed or get hit by the laser, and I chose the seaweed. Also, you will probably never again see me dash from one end of that room to the other flawlessly in the first try without stopping like that. Usually I have to stop because the cannonballs are being shot from one wall to the other. But I actually managed to just dash back and forth in one shot that time. And now we have the dungeon weapon. Alright. It's really not a weapon. More of a piece of armor. Doesn't really do anything to your defense, but a glove is technically armor, so we'll go with that. And this is exactly why I got the 2 bottles and the bug catching net. So, in case you've lived under a rock and you have never played this game before, or if you just were never interested and you've never played it before, if you die while you have a fairy in a bottle, that fairy automatically revives you and restores a good portion of your hearts. So if you're pretty good at avoiding getting killed, and you keep a few fairies in a few bottles, you're pretty much immortal. Alright. Love this one with the flying tiles. You can actually just stand in the doorway in there, and the tiles won't hit you if you don't know where the key is. Of course, you just watch this, so you should know where the key is. And if you go right for it, you can pretty much outrun the tiles. There's another room like that coming up. Right here. Top right, got the key, and you can actually get in and out before the first tile even flies at you. So that's a good way to make time. Alright, boss 2. I have to say, I think these guys are my favorite bosses in any Legend of Zelda game. I was not a huge fan of Majora's Mask, but I did like how they brought back the sandworms. I was also going to make an Earthworm Jim joke here, but I don't know. I just can't. I never actually played the game. I was just going to try to make a joke about it, but I can't. I don't know enough about the game. Alright. Bear with me, I know that beeping is aggravating. Oh, but it's over. Alright. And there's pendant number 2, less than a half hour into the game. I probably should have mentioned, when you pick up the glove, that glove enables you to pick up the light green rocks. Now you'll see some dark green rocks. You can't pick those up until you get the golden glove in Dungeon 4 of Dark World. So, you're gonna have to pass those. And now we will be making our way to Death Mountain. Don't really need anything to get. We've got full hearts, full magic, and 2 fairies in 2 bottles. Forgot where I was going for a second. And we find the old man here. This guy is kind of helpful. He's lost, and he just needs help. He needs you to help him find his way out of the cave. I could be completely wrong about that. I'm not even reading the text, so that might not even be the scenario. That's just the scenario I made up in my mind. Alright, I hate these things. That's why. It seems like as soon as you go to move, those little rodents know exactly which way you're going to go and run either right into you or right away from you at the exact second that you turn to swing at them. They're like psychic rats. And here's the first Dark World portal of the game. Unfortunately, in the Dark World, you cannot maintain your normal form. So, Link turns into a pink rabbit. And we'll go back to Light World, because Link does not like being a rabbit. Alright, Dungeon 3. And for the record, these things, these bug-eyed worms, that thing that you saw encased in the tan blocks, those are my least favorite enemies in this game. Alright, unfortunately you cannot just stand in the doorway here because of the stairs. You have to pretty much either time your swings to hit the tiles, or just swing wildly like I am here, and you'll pretty much hit all the tiles. I tried timing my swings at the beginning of this, but I ended up getting hit, so when all else fails, flail out of control. Oh yay, 3 of them. I really can't believe that I took them out that fast. Normally that room takes me like 3 or 4 minutes because I refuse to let them out of their cage to fight them. We will hit that. So let's get on with this dungeon. Oh, I forgot something. Alright. I trapped myself. That happens. So let's go hit that crystal there. Now we can continue. Alright. So again, if you're looking to make time, it's probably best to go ahead and not forget things like that. I'm also going to ignore that chest that you saw up there on the staging, or whatever you would call it, because I know it's the map and I know I don't need it. These guys are fun. I kind of like how the recoil actually sends you back. So yeah, with the blue blocks down, you can pretty much just walk through here. But you want to make sure that you hit that crystal and the blue blocks are up. I'll explain why when I get there. But it really helps. It's really useful. So again, I could probably just move the pots and fight them head on in their little enclosure there, but I'd rather just stay here and swing wildly until they walk into my sword. Because I know that if I try to fight them fairly, they're going to dodge me and hit me, because I am not quick enough to turn and hit them. See? And I could have grabbed a heart, but no. I'll just grab some hearts here. This is why you want the blue blocks up and the tan blocks down. You also want to drop down that hole because you cannot continue or beat the game without this item. Remember how when Link set foot in Dark World, he turned into a pink rabbit? That pearl helps Link to maintain his actual form, so he can actually fight and beat the game in Dark World later, which you pretty much have to do if you plan to beat the game. And now we get to fight the bug-eyed worm from hell. I hate this thing. I will honestly be amazed if I beat it my first time without getting knocked off the platform. And alright. So let's grab some hearts and try again. Yeah, if you're sticking with watching this video at this point, this is where you would want to just get up for a bathroom break if you need to. Alright, come on, one more hit. One more hit. Ah! Ooh, at least he didn't knock me into that other hole. Alright, attempt number 3. This is going good. This is going really good. Alright, one more, come on. Ah, no! God. I feel like I should be listening to Free Falling at that point. And let's get the heart this time. Alright. I will not give up. I don't care if this takes me a half hour, I will kill this thing, and I will continue this game. Alright, 4th time's the charm. I have no idea how I hit it there, because you're only supposed to be able to hit the back end of the tail. And at one point there, it looked like I hit it in the eyes, or between the eyes, and he's dead. Alright. Yeah, so if I got through that, I can pretty much finish the game. So we've now collected all 3 pendants, and it is time to go get the Master Sword. I like how outside the forest is perfectly fine, but the entire forest is just shrouded in fog. And we're going to pick up a mushroom. Not for what you're thinking, but it is going to be very useful later. Alright, a massive pedestal with some fancy writing in front of it. We'll just ignore the writing and pull the sword out of the stone. And the fog is gone. I bet that'd be a real handy sword in the UK. Oh look, more telepathy. So, soldiers are attacking the sanctuary. I'm going to go ahead and just ignore that and go right to where I know the next point of interest is. You die. I have no idea why I thought I'd be able to get those arrows. I was just half paying attention. The lumberjacks are hard at work still, trying to saw that tree down. Now if I jump down there, there are some birds that are going to attack, so I'm going to jump down over here and avoid them completely. Alright. We're just going to cut through this grotto here. Take a little life on the way. Man, Link is going to have a concussion by the end of this game. And we are going to Hyrule Castle, because that's where you go after you get the Master Sword. Only this time, instead of going into the basement, we are going to go up. Just hit that, it goes away, and we are in the 4th palace. Now if you have full hearts, you can do this, or you can just walk up to them and hit them with the actual sword. It doesn't really matter because they're not the fastest. You just get 1 or 2 hits in on them and back away because they'll swing the chain and the ball. Yeah, so if you have full hearts, make good use of that beam that the sword shoots. It doesn't hurt to just shoot aimlessly in the dark. You could hit something. Alright. I can't believe I let him do that. And guess what? You don't respawn. Alright, we're almost to the top of the palace. Just a few more floors to go. Just want a heart. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna get out of that room as quick as possible. And here we are. Oh no, he has Zelda. What are we going to do? I'm just going to stand here and watch him do what he's going to do. Just for cutting me off earlier when I was trying to open that chest. Neat magic trick. I wonder where he could have gone. Oh, look, the door. Ah, I got it. I got too into dancing to the music. And it happened again. That's okay. I totally forgot he shoots the lightning. I'm definitely paying half attention at this point. And you die. Oh look, it's Sahazar. It's the annoying old guy. Okay, contacting me via telepathy. Got it. Open gate to the worlds. Got it. Hyrule Castle. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. 7 wise men. Got it. Maidens locked in dungeons. Okay. Palace of Darkness. Blah, blah. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna grab that heart. Just had to have Link do a little stretch on that post there. Just getting ready for the challenge ahead. So this first Dark World Palace, if you look at your map, which I'm not, you will see that it is in the exact same location as the first palace in Light World. Yeah. Only this time you have to go through a hedge maze to get to it. And when you get this monkey to follow you, it's really important not to get hit. If you get hit, the monkey will run away, and then you have to give it coins to follow you again. You also have to give it coins to open the palace. And we now start Dark World 1. Gonna have the mirror ready because there's some backtracking in the beginning of this palace, and the mirror makes it much faster. I like how they give me fairies when I don't need them. Alright, key and mirror. Right back to the start. If you use a mirror in the palace, or if you use the mirror in any palace, it will take you back to the first entryway of that palace. This part is where the mirror really comes in handy. I'm gonna have my arrows ready for these guys. I missed. Alright. And we just dash across here. You die. And I barely made that. Now, to the right, if you blow out that wall, I believe there are fairies there. I haven't done it in so long, I forget, but I think they are. And you can't continue from that point, so once you get the key, you just go back to start. We're going to go left first. This is extremely important because we need that chest. We're going to not jump off there and go up here to this locked door. Grab this chest and continue with the dungeon. And we'll just take the mirror right there, because if you step in the portal, it just brings you, basically you come back to this point anyway. Alright, got them on the second try. You want to get rid of them because when you come back in here, you got to jump down there. Now there is a thing you can do right there as you run past that chest with a bomb, where you can blow Link off that disappearing platform. And if you do it just right, you'll land him right on the platform with the chest. I am nowhere near good enough to do that. I've tried, and I fail every time. But that is a huge time saver if you can actually get it down. Alright, so now we got the hammer. We have the big key, the item, and now that just leaves one thing to do. And that one thing is to satisfy my inner banker and grab all these coins, because you're going to need them. As you can see, those things that were on the center platform are gone. And we can continue in peace. Gee, I wonder what to do here. Haven't encountered a room like this before. That should have went through his head. Alright, it's boss time. Most likely, this will be the first place I die. I feel like that mask should have shattered. Oh, there we go. Alright. I will probably never do that again. Only lost 2 hearts, and that thing usually kills me. I usually have to use at least 1 fairy there. Hopefully that's a good sign for the rest of the game. What's this? A disembodied being floating in a crystal. Alright. Rangers, monsters are attacking Hyrule. I wasn't listening, but yes, I understand. So, let's go. Alright, we now have the hammer. So if you were playing this game, and instead of going right for the palace, you tried to explore the Dark World, you wouldn't get very far, because you need to hammer down some posts in order to continue to the majority of Dark World. So, we'll get there in a minute. I believe it's just outside of this area. Maybe 2 screens away. So here's 1 screen. Yep, 2 screens away. And we gotta hammer these posts down. Now we can get to the rest of Hyrule, or Dark Hyrule. So I'm gonna get the mirror ready, because before we continue with the rest of the dungeons, we have some side questing to do. First thing, you got to talk to this aardvark looking thing here. We'll give you a shovel. Thanks, Arthur. And you're going to go into Light World using the mirror. You want to go down just to this one little patch of flowers and get the flute, or the ocarina, whatever you call it. And Flute Kid mysteriously vanishes. So we're going to stay in Light World right now and get a couple things done. First things first, we're going to make our way back to the village. So what you're going to do is run this way and look for that pink path. Follow that path right up to the bird statue and play the flute. We now have a rapid way of getting all around Hyrule. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to the bottom east corner of the entire map. And blow out that boulder that's right there. Because there's a very important item in that cave. But I need some coin first. There we go. And we now have the ice rod. Don't forget to get it, because you can't beat the game without it. And we'll get out of here. Now remember that mushroom we picked up back in the Lost Woods before we got the Master Sword? Give it to the witch, and if you have 500 coins, or rupees, carry on northeast of the witch. We are going to go to Zora Falls and get the flippers. I almost said slippers, but yeah. Close enough, the water slippers. There we go. I didn't really have to kill those things, I just really felt compelled to, so I did. And again, Link gets stuck on a corner of the dark blue. That's the same thing that happened to me when I was running to the second Light World Palace. And we have found King Zora. So we got the ice rod and the flippers, which are two very out-of-the-way items that you absolutely have to get. Now this you don't really have to do, but it'll make the game a little easier. If you throw the boomerang and the shield into this little pool here, you will get an upgrade for each. And you don't actually have to leave the room to trigger the text box again. You just walk in and out of the entrance a couple times. It saves you the little bit of time it takes to switch screens from inside to outside. And let's get out of here. Now remember that mushroom we gave to the witch? It's time to go visit the witch's assistant. And if you talk to the assistant, you get a free sample of health potion. So I think we're good for now. Which means it's time to tackle the next dungeon. Now at this point, in this portal, you're actually between two dungeons. North into the Lost Woods, no, wait. Yeah, North into the Lost Woods is Dungeon 3. I had to stop and think about that for a minute. I almost forgot what the map of Hyrule looked like. But yeah, north of that point is the third dungeon, and south, where you just saw me pull the grate off the statue, is the fourth Dark World dungeon. Now I'm going to do these Dark World dungeons out of order because it actually saves time. This is also why I got the fairies, because there is absolutely no way that I am going to beat this dungeon without getting killed. Alright, I'm really low on hearts, so I need hearts. That helps. I really hate how that fireworm just follows me everywhere I go. Now, you don't really have to get rid of these enemies, but it makes the room a little less complicated. Of course, that will not stop me from getting hit. Now we are in a dead-end room with light shining on a crack in the floor. It is very important to blow out that crack and make a hole in the floor. Demolition is always fun. Yeah, there we go. Of course, we should have the blue blocks down. That makes this a little easier. It's also the only way to continue. I'm going to take that one heart and count my blessings and not try to get more hearts. Alright, picking up a few more hearts here. I'm pretty good now. See, this one is nice. She's not like Zelda, who just cuts you off when you're going to open a chest. Now, you want the hammer ready, because you want to get in and out of here. Get that chest. Now you have the golden gauntlet. And if you're not quick, you will get trapped in that room with the floor disappearing. Alright, he didn't want to give me a heart, so we'll just go on into this room, drag her into the light, and you find out she is not the maiden, she's the monster, so kill it. Like any monster, just kill it. Don't ask questions, just slash until it's dead. And this is why I have fairies. Alright, another lecture from a talking crystal. Yes, I understand. So before we continue north and go to the third Dark World dungeon, we are going to rescue this frog. This is why I did Dungeon 4 first. You get the gauntlet, you come down here and save the frog, get your mirror ready, and walk the frog right over to this part of the town. You take your mirror and the frog will follow you through the mirror and into the light world, and you find out that the frog is actually one of the Smith brothers. So they thank you if you go talk to them, but you leave and you come back in and you go talk to the one you helped, and they will offer to temper your sword. So you temper your sword, you leave without a sword. Now, the sword tempering is not on a timer as far as I know. It's based on the number of steps you take, I think. I'm not positive. I could be wrong. I very well may be. But to kill time and to take steps, you go into this hole that's outside of the smith shop and throw that powder that you got from the witch's assistant onto this thing here. And the little bat will put a curse on you that will cause you to use only half the normal magic to use magic abilities. It's probably the best curse you could have. So we're just going to move that Dark World portal, because when I come back, I'm going to need to get up those stairs. That was a really bad place to leave the portal. Now to kill some more time and take some more steps, I'm going to go and get a bottle. Just to be safe. I normally don't need 3 bottles and 3 fairies, but just in case I start playing extra bad, which given how late it is, I probably will. Never hurts to cover yourself. And this guy here is probably the best character in the game. He's got his campfire, his little tent, sleeping bag. He's just camped out under the bridge. He doesn't care a thing about society. He's going to do what he wants to do. Yep, if there was a decent bridge around here, I might just buy a tent. Alright, so we gotta fill 2 bottles. There's 1. There's 2. And they're coming with me too. I was really lucky I didn't run into that soldier there, because having no weapon right now, there's really no way to fight back. You would just get hit. And your sword's ready. It will now do more damage, which is good. But before we go on to Dark World 3, there are 2 more things to get. I actually could have got these back when I got the bird, but I chose not to. That's a lie. I forgot completely. In any case, it doesn't matter. I will be getting them now. So we just picked up Ether. That's going to help you get into Dark World 6. You cannot enter the dungeon without it. Now we're going to enter Dark World through the main gate of Hyrule Castle. There may be a Dark World portal closer to where I'm going, but if there is, I don't know about it. And we're basically going to head the same way we went for Zora Falls. The only difference is this time we will not be going up all the way. And we just grab this rock here and throw it into that ring of rocks. And the wise old Katata fish will give us Quake. Quake helps get you into the last Dark World dungeon. And again, like Ether for 6, you cannot get into Dark World 7 without Quake. So now we're good. Now we're just going to finish off the dungeons. I believe we are also officially a little more than halfway done with the game. I like how even with the tempered sword, these mummies take like 1,000 hits to die. And don't forget about the wall masters, or floor masters, or whatever they're called. They're in just about every room in this dungeon. I have no idea what's in that blowout to the right. I just know I don't need it. And we're going to trap the little floating orb there. Now we'll blow out this. And go get the dungeon item. Just pull that lever. The wall blows out. I like to go up there because I know these things are coming up. And it just puts you more in the middle of the screen, whereas if you go down right after pulling the lever, you're kind of toward the bottom of the screen, so you don't get as much reaction time when they come flying at you trying to hit you. Alright, so we got the big key, we got the dungeon item, and we're good. It is time to get on with life. Same room we were in before, only this time we are going to exit the left. Of course, it's always fun to just get rid of these guys, hoping for hearts. Now, you don't want to ignore the skull pot here. You want to get that key. That right there is going to save you quite a bit of time. And I will explain why in a minute. We just select the fire rod here. That opens the final doorway in here. Now, if you didn't get that key in the previous room, you have to go down the stairs and maneuver your way around there into that door that was off to the right. And then you have to maneuver your way through the next room, down to the bottom of it, to get the key that's in the chest there. So getting that key in that room that I pointed out is just a lot faster. It's way more efficient. That was pure luck that the Wall Master didn't get me there. And you don't really have to kill the enemies here. If you're low on hearts, I guess it's a good idea. This one you do have to kill the mummy because you need the key to continue. And it's boss time. Here we have a giant moth. And this thing is another reason why I keep bottles filled with berries. Yeah, I am playing especially awful right now. Alright, another lecture. Do you know the prophecy of the Great Cataclysm? Yes, I understand. You talk a lot. So we're gonna go get those fairies I lost back. Though, to be honest, with 1, 3, and 4 done, those are pretty much the only bosses that really tend to kill me in this game. So I don't really need these. It doesn't hurt to have them though. Sorry, choked on my own BS there for a minute. Forgot where I was going for a second. It is time for Dark World 2. However, before we do Dark World 2, I don't normally get this item when I play the game, especially if I'm playing for the sake of time. But at the end of the game, or rather in the last castle, there are a few rooms that I just don't feel like dealing with because I worked a full day today and it's late and I just don't want to deal with them. So Bombo's there is going to make those rooms a bit easier. Alright, dropping frames. Yeah, speaking of dropping frames, you probably noticed way earlier in the game when Link gets hit or when he goes in or out of a portal, he kind of just disappears instead of flashes. That's not my game. That's just how the recording came out. This is my first attempt at actually recording a game, so I wasn't really able to get it to drop 0 frames. I was able to make it watchable, but not perfect. That was a real pain though, right at the beginning when I first hooked up my little recorder. I ended up dropping like 100 and something thousand frames by the end of the game. It was awful. At one point it would just skip and it was like a fast-forwarded video. However, the audio stayed right in pace with the gameplay from when I recorded it. So the video being sped up and the audio being at normal pace was horribly, horribly out of sync. I spent days just looking for tips online of how to get the thing to actually record properly. And that was when I found out just how technical recording can be. I honestly thought when I got the thing it was going to be as easy as plug it in and go, but no, you have to be like a junior computer tech to actually get these things to work. I was really close to just packing it up and giving up. Now, if you never played this game before, at this point here, you might be thinking, if you were paying attention to the room below you, that you could hit that crystal and just go down to save time, but that is not the case. So you could have skipped that central room by doing what I just said. However, you need the tan blocks down. The blue blocks have to be up, or you're gonna have a bad time. I believe we will see why you need the tan blocks down in just a minute. I tried to run through there without getting hit. Almost made it. This is why you need the tan blocks down. You would be very unhappy if you got to this point and those blocks were up, because you would not get this key. Sorry, been drinking while I was narrating. Alright, we got the hook shot. Hook, where's the hook? I'm having flashbacks to the Hook movie now. At this point here, I forget where you're really supposed to go, because there are 3 doors here. There's this one in front of you, and then there are 2 on the other side of the room. So, I know I have to put that block down. I'm just gonna guess at where to go, though. Yeah, this looks right. This is right. Alright. So we are almost done with Dark World 2. That's TWO, not TOO. We're quite a ways done from being, or quite a ways from being done with Dark World in general. I wish we were quite a ways done. So I guess we are. We are over halfway. Here's the cool thing about having the tempered sword with this boss. You kill those little things that are hovering around it in one slash. That's not the case if you don't have the tempered sword. See if I can time it like that. Nope. Close enough. Only the first hit? Huh. That one I can usually hit every time before it starts moving around the room. Alright, so at this point, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 done. So next up is number 6. Now there's a good reason to do 6 before 5. I'll get to that when we're actually in 5. It's later in 5. But doing 6 first, if you can, definitely saves a ton of time. Link just wanted to go for a swing there. Alright, like I said, you needed ether to open this. And there we go. The hookshot is a very useful item. I have to say it's my favorite item in the game. Now here's another thing. On the screen here in the video, these Wizrobes are just appearing and disappearing. In the actual game, they'll flash in front of you before they appear and before they disappear. But because my recorder is terrible, it dropped the frames where they flash. It was just too much data. I can't blame the recorder. That could be my laptop. It could be the background programs running. I closed as much as I could, but it still just doesn't catch everything. I have no idea why I went in this room. I just completely forgot where I was going. And if you're trying to beat my time, which isn't, shouldn't be too tough, just don't do that. That'll save you some time. Because that is a meaningless room. Now when you're pushing these blocks, you want to be really careful not to block your path. You want to be able to walk up to all those little lanterns that you have to light. They're not really lanterns, obviously, but close enough. Yeah. The little torches. There we go. They both give off light. Close enough. And when the pallet stops quaking, you just continue over into this room where the developers kind of try to fake you out. Most of the time, if you fall in a hole like that, it sends you back to the beginning of the room and you lose a heart or something. Because most of the holes you fall through have kind of a crisscross pattern in the center. Whereas that one was just solid black. Kind of like a pit in Mario. I don't know if they did that on purpose or if it was accidental. But whatever the case, you want to drop down that hole because, as you saw, that's how you get the master key for this dungeon. Then you want to run back to the central room. and head to the bottom right. Not that bottom right, but this bottom right. And you want to use the hook shot to get over here because that platform in the middle is going to disappear. So if you tried running around the outside, you wouldn't make it in time. And this cane is the reason that I do Dungeon 6 before 5. Now we're just making our way back to where that big locked door was, and we're going to take this portal, which sends us to this locked door. And now we can continue with the rest of the dungeon. You gotta be really quick in this next room, or the little statues that spit fire could really mess you up. Didn't really need it, but it's always fun to kill enemies that can't do a thing about you killing them. I actually remembered that those little bugs sometimes run out of the blown out wall, but I figured I could get in there before they ran out, and I figured wrong. Now if you really need hearts, you can stand in the top right corner there and just keep hook-shotting the little blobs that fall from the ceiling, and eventually they will fill your hearts, but I don't feel like taking the time to do that. Plus I have 3 fairies, so I have nothing to worry about here. I have no idea why I switched to the boomerang. You don't need the boomerang here. And an important tip for fighting these guys, you want to keep moving periodically while you're taking out the little eyeballs, because they will actually fly at you faster than you can swing your sword. So eventually, if you stay in just one spot, they will gang up on you and they will just hit you. And you can't do a thing about it because they move faster than you do. There are 2 ways to take this guy out. There's probably more than 2, but the first way is with arrows. The second way is just letting him jump at you, and when he gets close, hit him with your sword. I didn't feel like taking a chance because I was down to 1 heart, so I just used arrows. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I understand. So I'm just gonna go in here, even though I don't really need fairies. So let's get out of there. Alright, totally forgot what I was doing for a second. This is Dark World 5. I have to say, this is my least favorite dungeon in the entire game. Now I know I got bombos for the last castle, Ganon's Tower, but it can come in use here. There's a little preview of what they do, actually, or what bombos does. Don't really have to kill any of them. And here's another good room to use bombos in. Just take out the green penguins and step on the little switch. Looks like an empty room, but it's not. And we will take out the 2 skeleton knights. Just a couple boneheads, really. Now I discovered that if you shoot the hookshot while the room's moving, Link actually stays fairly safe. So you can kind of use the hookshot to control the pace at which you move through this room. Of course, that doesn't mean I won't get hit, even though this time I didn't. Didn't really need the heart, but why not take it? Here's another place to use bombos. Makes it much quicker. Alright, let's see if I can beat this thing out and get down the stairs. Yes, I got down the stairs before it hit me. You will never see that again. And right now I'm debating whether or not to get the big chest. The only thing that's in that chest is the next level of armor for Link. I think I might get it. Now if you notice the door down at the bottom of the room, you see we gotta find a switch, and there it is. The easiest way to navigate this room is using the dash. There we go. That is going to come in handy. As you can see, the hook shot can save your life. Now I have full hearts again. And that is probably the easiest room in the entire dungeon. That was just awful timing. Now if you step on that switch, a chest appears across the way, but you don't really need it. Alright, we'll blow up Numbskull there. And pulling out the tongue makes the door open. The only reason I got that chest is because I completely forgot what was in it. If I knew it was the map, I would have ignored it. So we have the big key. Now it's time to get the item, because I'm playing terribly and I'm taking a lot more hits than I usually take. Try not to run over the switch this time. I was going to try to get through here without hitting a single one of those floating red things, but that one I hit just kept harassing me, so I had to hit it. Those two, too. And, of course, the Skeleton Knights are back, because they don't know when to quit. Now, let's see if I can get through here without getting hit again. Alright. Really didn't think that was going to happen. This time without the bombos. And like I said, you will not see me beat out the fire rod there. So I'll just let it pass. Beating it to the stairwell once was an achievement in and of itself. And there's the upgraded armor. Now in this next room, you will see why I got the red cane first. We have the big key, so we can continue, but notice that those blue blocks are blocking the ice cubes. If you did not have the cane, the red cane down there, yeah, that one, then when you get to this room, you would need a key, which you can clearly see I do not have. So you'd have to go back and find the key, come back to this room, go into that next room, and look for the crystal that switches the tan and blue blocks. Then you gotta go through the dungeon again, back to that room with the blue blocks blocking the ice cubes, and push an ice cube down the hole to line up with that switch that I used the cane to place a block on in the room before this one. Seriously saved like 40 minutes of gameplay by getting the cane first. And it's boss time. You do want to avoid those cubes that the ice blocks shatter into. Those last 3 shots with the fire rod were pretty awful. Didn't hit a thing. But I just pinned the 2 of them up against the wall at the same time, so that kind of made up for it. Alright, we are 2 hours in, and 2 palaces to go. That includes Ganon's tower. And again. More blah 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 blah. 7 wise men, Ganon bad, kill Ganon, free Zelda, yeah, I get it. Yes, I understand. Still have all the fairies. Doing pretty good at dodging the boulders. I really hate these tech types. I hate them so much, I actually committed what their name is to memory. They're still not as bad as those worm things that are in this dungeon, though. Don't often get those 2 in one shot. It's good to freeze as many of those things as you can, because they will hit you while you're lifting that rock. And we will use Quake to open this final dungeon. Or second to final, yeah. Now before we do this, I just realized I forgot something semi-important. So we are going to call upon the bird. And flying here doesn't help. I was just mashing buttons really quickly. We'll get out of here and go here. You want to get right to Link's house, but in Dark World. So we're going to do a big circle right now. Entering Dark World through Hyrule's Gate and going back around and down to Link's house. Now, if you never played the game and you're wondering why I didn't just turn right around and go down, it's because in Dark World, there is no bridge connecting the land that Link's house is on to the land that Hyrule is on. So you have to walk around this way. The bridge is out. Now, important thing here, when you have this bomb, do not jump off the ledge, do not hit the A button. If you even tap the A button, you'll lose the bomb. I don't remember if getting hit makes you lose the bomb, but you want to try not to get hit. That's a general rule when you're playing in any point in the game, but I would say especially at this point. Only because I don't remember if getting hit makes you drop the bomb. And they tried trapping me in there, but their timing was off, so I got away. And we're going to leave the pink bomb right in front of that wall. That is the only bomb that will blow that wall out. And in here, we are going to get an upgrade for the arrows and for the Master Sword. Alright, so we have the Master Sword fully upgraded and the silver arrows that you cannot beat Ganon without. Did really good at dodging those rats and boulders, but of course the boulders hit me when I'm by the ladder, or on the ladder, and I can't go in any other direction. Now the Tektites are not as much of a problem because with the yellow sword they die in one hit. Even the red one dies in one hit. Didn't get past him without getting hit that time, but it's okay because the fairy's right there. You want to dash into those blocks from the top. Usually, if you dash at them from the top, you'll get the fairy as soon as you break the blocks because the fairy usually flies up first. and we can start Dark World 7 with full hearts. So using the red cane on those little question marks makes a platform that carries you around the dotted line. So we're just going to go for a little ride here. Make sure to light that torch when you pass it. And then that one. And you can go right up here. Well, that was useless. I just didn't really feel like trying to dodge them. Even though the map was useless, we did get that one key, and that helps. Alright. Drop the key and a heart. And these guys are lost. They're clearly in the wrong franchise. And I'm sick of trying to time it so that they're away from the chest. So I'll take a few hits and just grab what's in there. Hopefully I get a heart. Not enough. God, that beeping is annoying. So we're going to go in the lower one first. And let's hope for some hearts. Alright. And for once, the game is on my side. Big key. Alright. I forget where to go. Nah, just kidding. We'll go here. It is really late right now. It's a good thing I'm off tomorrow. Now, why I walked up, I have no idea. Probably because I'm overtired. But you could just stand in the corner after you place that bomb, and the eyes will not shoot at you. Alright, final shield upgrade. You are going to need that shield. It will save your life. Again, you don't actually have to kill that enemy, but I was hoping for hearts. And I completely forget where to go, so I'm just going to guess up. And this looks right. I'm 90% sure this is right. This room is a blast. You have to navigate this platform to the platform in the center of the room that has a switch on it, which is right here. You don't have to put a block on it to hold it down. You just have to hit it once. Then you have to take the platform all around the room there to that platform that was just below me. And that's usually a blast. You'll end up going around the room, getting hit by the fire rods, and probably dying. I did that really efficiently, much more efficiently than I usually do. And the yellow shield actually blocks these lasers. As you can see, they give you just enough time to block a laser, take a few steps back and turn around, which is what you want to do, otherwise the laser will hit you and knock you off the platform. I would much rather deal with you than the floating skull thing. And more floating skulls, alright. He takes a heart and he gives one back. Alright. 4 hearts for this boss, should be plenty. You want to have the fire rod ready because this thing has 2 claws. Fire claw and an ice claw. You use the fire rod on the ice claw and the ice claw, or the ice rod on the fire claw. You want to take out the ice claw first because if you let it spit ice, the ice does not go away. It stays on the floor and messes you up the entire battle. The fire, however, if it spits fire, the fire will go away. And you get a little fireworks show. But you have to fight one last form of it. Hit that flashing segment in the middle of its body, and you kill it. Now if you took out the fire claw first and let the ice claw spew ice, that could make dodging the snake really, really difficult, depending on how much ice you let the thing throw onto the floor. And one last lecture. Alright. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Let me know when you're done. Yes, I understand. Ganon evil, kill Ganon. And now we're ready for Ganon's tower. That was really nice of it to give me a fairy, just to make sure that I had full health. Now, if you didn't go get the arrow and sword upgrade at this point, this is where you do not want to enter Ganon's tower. You would want to go back to Light World, go to Link's house, go into that portal at Hyrule's Gate, and go get the pink bomb and get those upgrades, because you cannot beat Ganon without them. Alright, hit one and the other twice. Why I didn't just lay a bomb down, I have no idea. I'm gonna say it's because it was 2 in the morning and I wasn't thinking. Alright, 37th time is the charm. Ow. Spikes hurt. Alright, right here, it's a good idea to just take that top pot . It's gonna get rid of him too. Because you use the fire rod here to light that torch, to light the floor. It's really the only way you can see the floor. If you play this game enough times, you can probably memorize where the floor is. But if you use the hook shot to get to the little skull pot, then you're pretty much guaranteed to have the floor lit up the entire time that you're walking across it. And I'm going to ignore that chest because I know it's worthless. There's nothing of any value in it. I like fighting these guys with the silver arrows because it only takes one. Ah, missed. Missed again. Didn't miss. Missed that time, missed that time. Let's line up pretty good. Ah. There we go. Now you go up the north door, and you get the master key. The last master key you'll need. Now if that battle really taxed you and you were low on hearts, you could go right in here and get some fairies. I'm greedy, even though I don't really need them. I'm going to grab the fairies. Or just one. Just to have full hearts. And if you really want it, you can get the last armor right there. Now we can go up all 190 floors of Ganon's tower and confront Ganon. I'm only kidding, there's only like 8 floors. Getting this guy to line up could be a pain. Not him, but the red one. There we go. And you want to make your way over here to hit this block, and that opened the door. How I didn't lose a heart after trapping myself on the spikes, I'll never know, but I managed to do it. And you gotta kill both of them, and you can move on. Alright, one hit for another. Fair trade. Now if you notice, between those two overhangs are the two statues. If you move quick enough, you can get through there without having to fight either of them. Again, if you needed fairies, you can actually get on the edge of that platform, dash into the blocks that were in front of you, and Link will jump backwards, landing on the platform at the bottom of the screen back there, and you can blow out the wall and go get the fairies. Now remember I said I had bombos for a couple rooms I didn't really want to deal with? Here's one of them. And here's the other one, because maneuvering on ice is a pain. Even though the enemies are fairly simple, the amount of control the ice takes from you is just not worth dealing with. Alright, got him just before he buried his head back in the sand. Here's another place bombos comes in handy. Now if you needed to see the floor there, you could use ether. While he's using ether, it will light the room. But I knew right where the floor was. And it doesn't hurt to fill up. We'll just dash through here. Now before you light these torches, you want to go down and remove the pots that could potentially be in your way. I removed the pots that were in front of the torches first, but it doesn't matter what order you do it. Fire rod, fire rod, fire rod, fire rod, and run. Now up these stairs, the floor is going to start to disappear, so you want to do the right side first. The lower right, actually. Because if you use the fire rod, you can hit the upper right at any point there. You just don't want to spend too much time in that room. Alright, I tried to time that so I wouldn't get hit, and I failed miserably. Alright, the bug-eyed worm from hell again. Much easier with the yellow sword. You definitely don't want to push the lower blocks first. And you want to take that guy out and just dash through the center of the room. Don't waste your time with any of them. And here we go. The first of 2 final fights. He thinks he's going to be tougher by creating clones. Almost got a double hit on him there. That was horrible timing on my part. There we go. Alright, the wizard is dead. You die. Die, 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 die. And it's time for the final fight. Take a hit. I don't know if that hit actually counts before he starts ranting his evil rant, but it doesn't hurt. Get a couple more shots in on him before those fire bats form. Don't want to get too close to him because that thing lays fire trails pretty fast. Definitely want to just wait till you have an opening. And once the floor is fully disappeared, he just body checked me. That was completely uncalled for. I do not die here. He dies here. But yeah, once he makes the floor disappear, all of a sudden those torches are going to go out for no apparent reason. So you want to switch between the fire rod and the silver arrows. I'm just going to stand here and wait for the torches to go out. So lucky that he didn't knock me off the floor there. Alright, that's it. 2 hours, 37 minutes. The game is done. And that is how you beat A Link to the Past in 2.5 hours. Now, by no means do I think that I hold the best time. I've seen someone beat this game in, I think, an hour and a half, but they were doing things in the game that I just either can't or won't bother to learn how to do. One of the things, for example, was in Dark World 1, where you're making your way to the blowout just before the room with the hammer. As the floor is blowing out, you can actually plant the bomb on the floor, like I said, and have the bomb blow you across the pit and onto the platform where the hammer chest is. But I consider that to be kind of a glitch, because the barrier that surrounds the chest is the same barrier that's in the room that you're not supposed to be able to pass through. I wanted to do this without any codes and without any glitches. So, aside from the fact that I couldn't do it if I wanted to, that's not important. I consider it to be a glitch. Also, if I remember right, every time you go from one screen to another, if you use the Pegasus boots to dash at a certain point, you can actually make the screen transition faster. I think that's what someone said once. If it's true, doing that every time you go from one screen to another could save a ton of time in the long run. And that's another thing that I haven't bothered to learn to do. So, there's 2 ways right there that you could really beat my time easily. Also, a couple times I got lost, forgot what I was doing, and went into the wrong room. So, that could shave off a few minutes. And now we will just let the credits roll. Alright, the Master Sword sleeps again. Forever. Or until the next Zelda game.